Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today, I will be doing my February wrap-up. In February, I read 5 books. They totaled 1,856 pages, with an average of 371 pages per book and 66 pages per day. There should be chapters marked so you can easily skip around. First up was Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. This is the first in the Dragon Scales duology. It is a fantasy novel, the description says. Long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods. But the gods remember, and they do not forgive. Thief Arcady scrapes a living on the streets of Vatra. Desperate, Arcady steals a powerful artifact from the bones of the Plaguebringer, the most hated person in Lumit history. Only Arcady knows the artifact's magic holds the key to a new life among the nobles at court and a chance for revenge. The spell connects to Evren, the last male dragon foretold to save his kind, dragging him through the veil. Disguised as a human, Evren soon learns that to regain his true power and form and fulfill his destiny, he only needs to convince one little thief to trust him enough to bond completely, body, mind, and soul, and then kill them. Yet the closer the two become, the greater the risk both their worlds will shatter. 3 stars. I had kind of mixed feelings about this book, and I honestly wasn't entirely certain what to rate it. While people usually accuse books of having exposition dumps, I mostly felt like this book was too sparing in its exposition. We hear a lot about terms, people, and places in the first chapter that are not explained until later, which left me feeling kind of confused at the very start. It's not unnavigable, but it's the kind of thing where the early chapters would definitely flow better and have better impact on a reread where you understand immediately what these things mean. I also, ultimately, didn't know how to feel about it because nothing was resolved by the end. The writing was pretty good, the characters were okay, but at the same time, I couldn't say that I liked it. Honestly, I was leaning towards not liking it. So, caught in a confused limbo, I gave it a middling rating and decided to put a hold on the sequel for when my library got a copy. After that, I read Natural 20 by Charlie Novak. This is the first book in the Roll for Love trilogy. It is a romance novel, the description says. Plants are easier than people. That's Leo's rule of thumb. After all, nobody really wants a man who looks like he belongs in a biker gang, but would rather spend his time buried in books and flowers. It's just easier to be single, until he meets the owner of the new bookshop. Jacob Morris knows 2 things. He's really attracted to the man who runs the local flower shop, and he doesn't date. Not when he's still healing from a bad breakup, has a new business to run, game nights to organize, workshops to host, and a website to build. When friendship blooms into something more, Leo and Jay must decide whether to roll the dice and take a chance on love, or keep forging ahead on their quests alone. Will their roll yield a 1 or a perfect natural 20? 3 stars. The relationship was fairly cute, the pacing was fine, the plot was fine. It was a decent book, largely hampered by my very much not being in the mood for erotica, which it clearly was. I was a little disappointed that a book called Natural 20 in a series called Roll for Love had very little to do with gaming. Jay runs a gaming night and Leo joins his game, but that really has no bearing on the plot. We don't spend any time with it, and it could easily be changed to something like a movie night without any difference at all. Your mileage may vary, but I feel if you're going to tie your book's entire surface identity to gaming, it should have some impact on the story inside. I neither loved nor hated this, but I was kind of interested in the couple they set up for the next book, so I might come back to the series eventually, just not for now. Then I read Spoiler Alert by Olivia Jade. This is the first book in a series by the same name. It is a romance novel. The description says, Marcus Castor Rupp has a secret. The world may know him as Aeneas, star of the biggest show on television, but fanfiction readers call him something else. Book Aeneas would never. Marcus gets out his frustrations with the show through anonymous stories about the internet's favorite couple, Aeneas and Lavinia. But if anyone discovered his online persona, he'd be finished in Hollywood. April Whittier has secrets of her own. A hardcore Lavinia fan, she's long hidden her fanfic and cosplay hobbies from her real life, but not anymore. When she dares to post her latest costume creation on Twitter, her plus-size take goes viral, and when Marcus asks her out to spite her internet critics, truth officially becomes stranger than fiction. On their date, Marcus quickly realizes he wants more from April than a one-time publicity stunt. But when he discovers she's unapologetic Lavinia stan, his closest fandom friend, he has one more huge secret to keep from her. With love and Marcus's career on the line, can the two of them stop hiding once and for all, or will a match made in fandom end up prematurely cancelled? 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. It was cute. I did have some issues with the impending third act breakup, because it seemed like if Marcus just opened his mouth at the point when their relationship became serious and explained himself, April probably would have understood. Honestly, he handled it as well as he could given the circumstances, and I don't think there was any reason for her to be mad up to a point. But he let that point pass because he was sure she would hate him, and it obviously blew up in his face. Temporarily. Obviously, it's a small thing in the grand scheme. It didn't stop me from enjoying the book overall, but it was frustrating for me while reading it. All the same, if you like romance and fandom culture, I'd recommend checking this one out. I might read the rest of the series eventually, but I was less interested in the couple dates set up for the next book, so I'm not rushing out for the next one just yet. Then I started reading the Temeraire series, beginning with His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. This is a fantasy novel. The description says, aerial combat brings a thrilling new dimension to the Napoleonic Wars as valiant warriors rise to Britain's defense by taking to the skies, not aboard aircraft, but atop the mighty backs of fighting dragons. When HMS Reliant captures a French frigate and seizes its precious cargo, an unhatched dragon egg, fate sweeps Captain Will Lawrence from his seafaring life into an uncertain future and an unexpected kinship with a most extraordinary creature. Thrust into the rarefied world of the Aerial Corps as master of the dragon Temeraire, he will face a crash course in the daring tactics of airborne battle. For as France's own dragonborn forces rally to breach British soil in Bonaparte's boldest gambit, Lawrence and Temeraire must soar into their own baptism of fire. 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I'm pretty sure it was responsible for kicking my brain into a desperate need for more dragons. I'm not a history person, so if I ever learned about the Napoleonic Wars, which I don't think I did, I've forgotten it. That means that even the events that were drawn directly from history got to be a surprise to me, and other than knowing that eventually Napoleon would lose, I didn't know what to expect. I loved Temeraire and Lawrence, and I enjoyed watching them grow together. The only thing I didn't love was the way it ended. This book isn't the worst offender in the series, but it felt kind of abrupt to me. Still, I would absolutely recommend this book. And of course, I followed that up with the second book, Throne of Jade, also by Naomi Novik, and also a fantasy novel. The description says, when Britain intercepted a French ship and its precious cargo, an unhatched dragon's egg, Captain Will Lawrence of HMS Reliant unexpectedly became master and commander of the noble dragon he named Temeraire. As new recruits in Britain's aerial corps, man and dragon soon proved their mettle in daring combat against Napoleon Bonaparte's invading forces. Now China has discovered that its rare gift, intended for Napoleon, has fallen into British hands, and an angry Chinese delegation vows to reclaim the remarkable beast. A reluctant Lawrence has no choice but to take Temeraire back to China, a long voyage fraught with peril, intrigue, and the untold terrors of the deep. Yet once the pair reaches the court of the Chinese emperor, even more shocking discoveries and darker dangers await. Again, 5 stars. I liked this just as much as the first book. You'd think a book largely involving transporting a dragon from Britain to China via massive boat wouldn't have much to do, but Novik managed to keep the voyage interesting. And, of course, once they were in China, there was plenty happening. One thing I really like about this series is the way Novik crafts the ways dragons would impact various cultures, and how those cultures might look and act because of the dragons they live with. I especially appreciate that Britain's way isn't treated as the best way to do things, which is a trap I feel a lot of books like this would easily fall into. And that's everything I read in February. If you like this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!